Hi friends, it's Carly and I'm back again with another review. So I know that I said we'd be doing Mumra next and we will be getting back to Thundercats in a couple of days, but I had a mini haul on Friday and I've been sort of looking at this figure and finally cracked it open and got to play with it a little bit and just absolutely couldn't wait. So for those of you who are waiting for Mumra, I promised you my next video will be Mumra, but today I couldn't stand to wait any longer. We're going to be taking a look at Domino. So when Hasbro hosted the Fan First Tuesday event that they revealed these cinematic versions of Deadpool 2 characters in, I was super excited. I pre-ordered immediately. Fun fact, I never got my pre-orders on these. I actually found them at Target and went ahead and canceled my pre-orders. But the important thing is that I have them in hand. And as you guys know from my cable review, I was absolutely blown away by the quality of the first figure I got to take a look at in that line. I love that figure. I felt like the facial sculpt of Josh Brolin could not have been better. And I was really excited to see what they did with Zazie Beetz. So we're gonna go ahead and just take a look at every part of this figure. Let me show you what the accessories that she came with first. Some are awesome and some are a little confusing. And then we'll go over the points of articulation and just talk about how she works overall. So the accessories that she comes with are closed fist hands. That's what are on her now. And then she's got her weapon holding hands right here. Just very basic with her fingerless gloves. She's got two sort of SMGs that she carries and that can holster on her hip. And then she's got a little pistol here. And an additional head, which we are going to be talking a lot about the head on this figure. So we'll start with that. So the heads are a little bit mystifying to me as an accessory. So what's really interesting to me is that while I really like these facial sculpts and, you know, Hasbro was really patting themselves on the back over her hair, which, you know, I feel like the hair is fine. I don't think it is the most, like, innovative craftsmanship in the world. I mean, I don't really know. Obviously, it's a very different style of hair than most of our action figures have, so I understand them, you know, being excited to work with something a little bit different, but I don't think they really innovated anything crazy original with this hair. It's just slightly translucent plastic molded in the shape of what her hair is. So it looks fine. I mean, I'm cool with it. I think it looks great. It looks like her hair. But I don't think, you know, they talked a lot about that as being like the biggest bonus to this figure, and I don't really think that it's anything particularly special. But what is interesting to me is that we got two heads with virtually identical expressions. A slight smirk on this head here. She also has a bang that swoops down. But what's interesting to me is that although they're almost exactly the same, somehow this head ends up actually looking more like Zazie Beetz, the actress, as Domino than this one does. This face has a really sort of generic look about it. It can be Zazie, it makes sense that it's her with the costume and everything together. It's a nice looking sculpt and it works, but it doesn't read directly as her face to me as much as this one does. So the question I have, like, to me this really looks like her. So the question I have is, in giving us two heads with such strikingly similar expressions, was this Hasbro just realizing that they got the look wrong on the first head? Because that's kind of what it feels like. She has, like I said, the couple little bangs, but the real difference is that this looks more like the actress than this does. And typically if we're getting two heads, we're getting sort of a, you know, two different expressions to work with. And with that not being the case here, it feels like they knew that they missed the mark on this head and then gave us a second one. I kind of would have preferred that they made this the primary head and then gave us a different expression on the second head, but at least the error is corrected. I think this is the head I'll be using. And that's just sort of a weird start to me, especially when they were making such a big deal about the sculpt on this to have missed the mark so completely, I think, on one, and for the other to be so successful is a little bit strange. So we looked at the weapons. They're fine. There's nothing special about them. I really love her costume. The depth of texture and design work that went into it is really, really impressive to me. It looks really complete, and it's got all of the details and extras that she had in the movie. So I feel like they didn't really miss any points at all on her outfit. She looks really, really fantastic. And, I feel like even though we're not getting those articulate points I want to see, we'll get to that in a second, they did give her a little bit more musculature. They made her look fit, not just sort of, thin and light and fragile the way a lot of the arms, particularly on Marvel Legends figures, look. I feel like it's a much more realistic body, where she's got, a little bit of a muscle. Imagine that, a superhero with a little bit of muscle on her arms. So I really like the design and sculpt and everything about her body. With the correct head on, let's just switch them out because it's gonna bug me. I think this is a really successful looking figure. It really captures who she is. So I am really happy with the way that this figure looks overall. When we get into the articulate points, as you guys know, I'm not going to try to linger on it forever because I don't want to beat a dead horse, but we're going to be running into the same thing. So critical points of articulation are missing. So rather than just harp on that forever, I'm going to talk about how well the ones that we actually have work. So with her head, we have 360 degrees turning around. You can see she has like a nice rock. Side to side, different angles. So we get some really good range of expressive poses out of her neck. I'm really happy with the way this, just the motion of the head is working. It's really, really great. Her arms actually hyperextend a little bit up into a like high V kind of. And I haven't seen that on a female figure in I don't even know ever, maybe, on a Marvel Legends figure. So that is excellent. You can do a lot with that, and she's sort of acrobatic. I mean, being as lucky as she is, it's not just, she can try her hand pretty much at anything and it's gonna work out. So I love the fact that this gives at least a little bit more flexibility, and we can see her being a little bit more acrobatic. So her elbows are, actually, you see I almost just ripped that out. I don't think, her elbows are a little bit different. They do bend, but it's a peg joint that just pops in there, so they're kind of finicky. So for instance, on this one, I don't know, you can see it just sort of pops out if you aren't too careful with how you're turning it. So remember, we're only gonna get that one click in the elbow, and you need to make sure that your joint right here is aligned, because if it's turned in any direction, really, it's gonna pop out. It just doesn't have a really great range of motion, but it does bend a little bit further than we've been seeing with just the 90 degrees recently, so that's good. She has got no turning waist, but she does have a really nice turn in the abdomen that is far more functional than we normally see. We're not getting that hang up spot. So it clicks all the way through. She's got an okay bow forward and a really great bow back. So I'm happy with that. The waist, we're just getting used to that being the way that it is. She's just not gonna get one. This is a little disappointing for the lateral lift in the legs, especially since the arms are so flexible. It's a little bit frustrating that they didn't carry that through, but this is what we're used to getting, so it's not particularly surprising that we didn't get more. She does have a thigh turn, which is great. This one is not really functional because of her built-in holster right here. But she has a nice bend at the knee. She does not have the boot turn, but she does have the really flexible feet that we've been getting on everyone. So she does have really good movement from the ankle down with a rocking side to side and a full range of motion front to back. So as far as articulation goes, it's what we're used to seeing. Hers in some ways works a little bit better. I feel like the turning in the abdomen is the best that I've seen. We're not getting a ton of negative space when we lean forward or back. And there's no hang up point where her abdomen is turned to the side and it becomes a hindrance as far as the rest of her body. So that movement is excellent to me. I love the hyperextension in her shoulders. I think there's so much to be done with that. And as usual, I wish there was more in the legs. Even, you know, recently I was talking about, again, how much you guys know I sort of dislike the boot turn. I think it's silly and weird, but on these female characters, I would rather see that than nothing at all. So it continues to disappoint me, but that's just the way it's going to be, it seems like. Overall, though, as far as appearances, with this head, which to me feels like the right head, she looks like the actress playing the character in that movie role. Her costume is perfect. Hasbro was really stoked on themselves for the hair. I think that it's fine. I think it achieves what it should achieve, although I don't think there's a particular innovation or anything mind-blowing about it. They did a great job. The head is really satisfying and the costume is great. So overall, I'm really, really happy with this figure. I think that there was a lot of sort of like tooting their own horn over this figure in particular on Hasbro's end. To me at this point, I feel like if they're going to be really, really upselling or sort of talking about the amazing work that they've done on a figure, that they should make it complete. And for me, complete is having the points of articulation that we want to see. So they didn't do that. So to me, this isn't a mind-blowing 10 out of 10, but it's a really, really solid 9 out of 10, what we come to expect as far as articulation, and absolutely stunning sculpt. It really looks like her, and with the right head on, there's no question about who we've got here. So that is my review of Domino. Please let me know what you guys think of this figure. These cinematic figures are just really satisfying to me. I love the Deadpool movies, and having these versions of these characters in hand just feels really good. So I picked up the Deadpool Negasonic 2-pack. I'm going to be doing that. We're going to finish out our Thundercats, but let me know what you guys are thinking of these cinematic versions of these X-Men characters and Deadpool characters. What would you like to see next from what I've gotten? You can go to Facebook to see my haul and figure out which ones I've got on hand. Also on Instagram. And if you guys let me know what you want to see next from the cinematic world, I will do it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please share with me in the comments what you think about this review and this figure, and I will be back soon with another one. Bye, friends!